today we're going to take a look at ML drums and how you can get started using it as a blind user. So if you are new around here, this is Logic Band. It's a site that covers using Logic Pro, macOS, and VoiceOver from the perspective of a blind user. Visit logic.band and sign up for the mailing list, and you'll get a free Getting Started with Logic course. And I'll be able to let you know all the cool stuff that's going on with Logic Band, including stuff that doesn't show up here on YouTube. If you want to support Logic Band, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube or visit logic.band/member and become a member to get extra bonus tutorials and to attend a Q&A where I can answer your question and we can have a discussion conversation about whatever it is you're working on or struggling with in Logic Pro or VoiceOver. So right now I'm in a blank project and it just has a instance of the classic electric piano, which is the default software instrument track that gets loaded up whenever you create a new track in Logic. And what we're going to do is end up resetting this track, making it blank, and put in ML drums on the track. And then I'll give you a tour of ML drums. But before we do that, I'm just going to go ahead and add a drummer track to the project. So I'm just going to hit Command Option U.
Drummer group.
And whenever you add a drummer track to the project, it puts an 8-bar drummer region in the project. So I'm just going to copy that drummer region. If I do Control N
9 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
and Control Home,
1 bar, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 tick.
you see that we have that region there selected.
Copy.
Copy that. And now I'm going to up arrow
Track 1 classic electric piano.
the classic electric piano track and paste that.
1 bar, 1 beat, 1, 9 bars, 1 beat, 1 division, 1 bar, 1 beat,
All
1
right, so we got that there.
track 2 SoCal. Cancel button.
We
Delete
can
default button. Track,
delete the
track.
SoCal track. I just wanted a drummer region so that I had something to demo the sounds with as well. All right, so we got our drummer region. I'm going to press Command U to cycle the selected region.
9 bars, 1 beat, 1 bar, 1 beat.
So now it'll just play back that one region on repeat while we go through some of these sounds. So next, I'm just going to hit Command Option Return. That'll make the track completely blank. I'm going to jump into the inspector and go ahead and add a new software instrument to this track through the mixer layout area in the inspector. So I'm going to stop interacting here. VO left to the inspector.
Inspector group.
Interact with that.
Inspector group. 8 items. Expanded. Disclosure.
I'm going to press VO end to jump to the end of this. If you're on a laptop, that's going to be VO FN and the right arrow for VO end.
Mixer layout area.
If I interact with this mixer layout area,
Mixer layout area. 2 items. Classic.
you see we have the classic electric piano track there. And now if you're on a version of Logic like 10.8.1, where if you interact with this channel strip in the inspector
And classic electric piano. Partially hidden. Channel strip group.
and you VO left
Tracks group.
and it kicks you back to the
Tracks
tracks
toolbar.
area, I'm going to show you how you can sort that out because this voiceover feature is going to come in handy in ML drums later on as well. All right, so let's stop interacting
Auto
here.
tracks group. Inspector group.
Go back to the inspector,
Inspector group.
interact, VO end,
Mixer layout area.
interact with the mixer layout
Mixer
area,
layout area. 2 items. Classic electric piano. Partially hidden. Channel strip group.
interact with classic
In
electric
classic electric
piano,
piano. Partially hidden. Channel strip group. 19 items. Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
and I'm going to turn off VO cursor tracking, and that's with VO Shift
Cursor
F3.
tracking off.
You may have to do VO Shift FN F3 depending on how you have your keyboard set up. So I just did that. I'm going to VO left.
Solo off. Switch. Mute off.
You
0.0
see
decibels.
it's
Volume
letting
slider.
me navigate through this. I'm just going to hit VO home. That's VO FN and the left arrow if you're on a
On.
laptop.
Library indicator. Null button.
And VO right from
Setting
here.
button. Gain reduction meter. Off. EQ. MIDI plugin button. Off. Library indicator. Instrument button.
And right there, instrument. If I VO space,
Menu. 34 items.
this brings up the list of instruments that we can add to this track.
Check mark. No plugin.
And I'm just going to go ahead and add the instrument I'm looking for. So if I VO down,
Recent. Dimmed. ML drums. Submenu.
see, we have ML drums listed here because I added it recently. But if you didn't do that and it's not listed here under your recent plugins, you want to go all the way to the bottom. So if I just hit VO end, it'll take me to the bottom of this list. Once again, that's VO FN and right arrow if you're on a laptop.
AU MIDI controlled effects. Submenu.
You see, it puts me on AU MIDI controlled effects. I'm going to VO up.
AU instruments. Submenu.
That puts me on AU instruments, and that's the submenu I want. So VO right.
AU instruments. Submenu. 8 items and submenu.
And now I'm going to VO down arrow to ML Sound Lab.
Apple. Boss Digital. Joey Sturgis. ML Sound Lab. Submenu.
There we go. VO right.
ML Sound Lab. Submenu. 1 item ML drums. Submenu.
And ML drums. That's what I'm looking for. And
ML drums. Submenu. 2 item stereo.
you can instantiate the stereo or multi-out version of this. And we're going to go with the stereo version for now, but I'll show you how you can set up multi-outs with this kit later on as well. So VO space on this.
Closing menu. Closing menu. Button. Classic electric piano. Dialog. Classic electric piano. Dialog.
And you see this brings up the plugin window. So if we hit VO end, once again, VO FN right arrow on a laptop.
Table, row 1 of 159. Rack tone 2 pan, minus 0.10 slider, 45% slider, selected.
You see that puts us on the table where we're going to have our parameters that we can adjust, but we don't want to use the table for controls view. So if I VO left from here,
Link, uncheck, checkbox, controls, menu button.
you see we get to the menu that says controls. If I VO space on that,
Menu, 3, check mark, controls, remote view.
Go down to remote view, VO space.
Closing menu, editor, menu button.
And it switches it over to the editor view. So that menu could say controls, it could say view. Either way, VO space on it and go down to remote or editor and select that, and it will switch it over to editor view. Now, if we VO right from here,
Link, uncheck, check ML drums, group.
we get to this ML drums group, and we'll have to interact with this to go through the plugin.
In ML drums, group. 28 items, LC, collapsed, pop-up button.
All right, so when you first interact with this window, you're going to see all the different options you have for swapping out kit pieces. So right here, you see it says Bell C.
Crash SAX19, collapsed, pop-up button. Crash SAX18, collapsed, slash SAX8, collapsed, stack C, collapsed, slash SAX10, collapsed, pop, crash SAX20, China SAX19, Tom TSCWB8 by.
So you have all these different options here that you can swap out the different symbols to different pieces, etc., etc. And what options you have will be based on whether you just have ML Drums free installed or whether you have any of the expansion packs installed. As of this recording, they currently have 5 expansion packs that you can purchase. ML Drums free on its own is decently full featured as well. And then you can add Essentials, Lux, Grit, Meld, and Yam, I believe are the other expansion packs right now. I'm going to jump to the bottom of this window because there's some other stuff I think we need to go over first. So if I press VO end to jump to the bottom of this window,
2.3.0.
it just shows you the version number at the very bottom of the window. Now if I VO left,
Button.
These buttons are unlabeled.
Button.
I believe that second one is the About button, so it just gives you your product name and everything.
Shop button.
Shop, this just it's essentially takes you to the ML Drums website.
MIDI button.
You have MIDI where you can change the MIDI mapping.
Mixer button.
Mixer, which is where you can adjust the EQ, saturation, compression. Now the mixer is not labeled as of this recording, so it's probably the least accessible part of this plugin. You can see the parameters, but they're not labeled, so it's hard to know which parameter is what.
Drums button.
And then drums, which is the window we're currently on, and that's the view that's going to show us all of the different kit pieces, kicks, snares, etc., and allow us to swap them to different kit pieces. And then if we VO left,
Custom start, collapsed, pop-up button.
so this menu here is where you will find your list of presets. If you VO space on this, it will bring up a list of presets that you can go through all the different presets for ML Drums. Now, depending on which expansion packs you have installed, you can sort through the presets based on the expansion packs as well. If you did not turn cursor tracking back on from earlier when you navigated through the inspector to instantiate or put this plugin on the track, you want to go ahead and press VO F3 again.
Cursor tracking on.
To turn it back on. All right, and now I'm going to VO space on this custom pop-up button.
Natural rock.
And you see we have a bunch of presets here. Now, once you have this menu up, you're going to want to turn off cursor tracking again and use your up and down arrows on their own, left and right arrows on their own, and VO shift space when you want to select something. So I'm going to turn cursor tracking back off.
Cursor tracking off.
And now you see if I up or down arrow,
American rock. Funk rock.
I'm going through all the different presets
Rap rock. New metal.
inside of one of the categories. But if I left arrow,
Essentials.
you see those presets weren't essential.
Lux.
If I down arrow, I can go through the presets for the Lux pack.
Meld.
And I have the Meld pack installed as well. So let's go back to
Lux. Essentials.
Essentials. And I'm going to use the right arrow to get to the list of presets. And now I can navigate the presets with up and down arrows.
Post grunge. Pop punk. Grunge rock.
So you have all these different presets here. Now, if I VO shift bass on this one,
button,
I would have selected the grunge rock
Classic
preset.
electric piano. Name. Text. Classic solo. Off. Classic electric piano. Name.
And I'm just going to do Command Accent to get me back in the plugin window
Classic
here.
electric. Classic drums button. Grunge rock. Collapsed. Pop-up button.
And you see I'm on grunge rock. So sometimes when you VO shift bass on these, it shifts VoiceOver focus back to Logic's main window. Now, if I play this, now I'm going to leave that playing and I'm going to go pick a different preset so you'll hear the drum sound changes. So I'm going to VO shift space on this again.
Presets.
Brings up the list of presets.
Default. Essentials.
So I went down to essentials. I'm going to right arrow.
Grunge rock. Natural rock. American rock. Folk rock. Rap rock. New metal.
And let's go new metal for now. VO shift space.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
And you see that shifted
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
the preset as well. I'm going to stop playing that. I'm going to press Command Accent.
Classic electric piano. Content selected. Edit text.
To
Classic electric piano. Class drums button. New metal. Collapse.
there we
Pop-up
go.
button.
Switch back over to the plugin window. All right. So now if I VO left from here,
Off. Toggle button.
that off is the humanize setting for the plugin. It's not labeled. It just says on or off. But that's the humanize setting as I understand it. So if you VO space on it, it will turn on the humanize setting of the plugin and make your drums sound more realistic. The drum pattern that you have it playing sound more realistic. If we VO left from here,
Floor tone TSCWB 16x14. Collapse. Pop-up button.
you see we have all the other kit pieces again.
Floor tone TSCWB 14 by Mini China C. Collapse. Pop-up. 356 hertz. Collapse. Pop-up button.
And now this one here that says 356 hertz, that is going to be a snare because for the different snare drums that you can choose between, it's going to give you different tunings of the snare. And if I VO left,
B91 collapse. Pop-up button.
that one is going to give you different microphone options for whatever kick. So this is using a B91A microphone, I'm assuming. And so for VO space on this, I'm going to play the project again, just so that we can hear the different kicks as we go through them. So if I just play the project, now I'm going to VO space on this B91.
None.
And you see it says none.
Kick L70s 24 by 14.
So these are the different kicks as I down arrow.
Kick TSCWB 22 by 16. None. Kick L70s 24 by 14.
So
Kick TSCWB 22 by 16.
let's go to that second kick now for right arrow.
B91
To B91,
M250.
M250, VO shift bass on
Classic
that.
electric piano. Name. Text.
So that's that kick with that microphone. So if I VO space,
Classic electric piano. Content selected. Edit text. Classic electric piano. Unselected.
Oops.
Insertion at end of text.
it's on the channel script focus. So I'm just going to Command Accent.
Classic electric piano. Now in. Untitled 1 Logics. Untitled 1. Tracks. Window. Classic electric piano. Name. Text. Classic electric piano. View. 356 hertz. M250. Collapse.
There we go. So VO space again.
Kick L70s 24 by 14. Kick TSCWB 22 by 16.
Go back down to the second kick, right arrow.
M250. Page 52G.
So we can pick a different microphone this time. Let's go with
Classic
that
electric
one.
piano. Name. Text.
So you see how the kit is changing, the kick is changing. So we can basically customize our own drum kit here using these methods. So this time, I'm going to switch back to the plugin again.
Classic electric piano. View.
This time, I'm going to go to the first kick,
None. Kick L70s 24 by 14.
that one, right arrow.
B52 B91 Page 52G.
So we have the same mic on this kick, so I'm going to select that one.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
So you see, that's a completely different sounding kick. So for each of the kicks, you have a few different microphones to choose from. And then if I go over
Classic
here,
electric piano. Name. Text.
oops, let's switch back to the plugin window, Command Accent.
Classic electric piano. View.
All right, so I VO right.
356 hertz. Collapse. Pop-up button.
Right there where it says hertz, that's going to be your snare. So if I VO space on this,
None. None.
same deal, you see it says none.
None. Snare L Beauty 14 by 6.5.
Then you have different snares
Snare L
here.
Beauty Dry 14 by 6.5. Snare L Magic 14 by 6.5. Snare L Super 14 by 5. Snare L Super HH 14 by 6.5. Snare TSCWB 14 by 5.5. Snare TSCWB 14 by 5.5 inches E1. None.
So you see we have a whole bunch of snares to pick from
Snare
here.
L Beauty 14 by 6.5. Snare L Beauty Dry 14 by 6. Snare L Magic 14 by 6. Snare L Super 14 by 5.
Let's go with that one. And now if I right arrow,
220 hertz.
I can pick a few different frequencies. Now if I up arrow, it should wrap around.
349 hertz.
And I tend to like higher tuned snares, so let's try this one out.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
So you see different snare and it's tuned higher. I don't like it that high though, so let's, oops, Command Accent.
Mini China C. 349 hertz. Collapse. Pop-up button.
Let's VO space on this.
None.
And
Snare L Beauty. Snare L Beauty. Snare L Super 14 by 5. Snare L Super HH 14 by 6. Snare L Super 14 by 5.
yep, that's the one. So right arrow,
349 hertz. 330 hertz. 311 hertz. 294 hertz. 311 hertz. 330 hertz.
try 330s.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
I like that better. But you see how you can go through and customize the drum kit, and you can do that with all the different kit pieces. I'm going to Command Accent back over
Classic electric
here.
piano. Name. Text. Classic MIDI China C. 330 hertz. Collapse. Pop-up
And I'll
button.
stop playing that for now. So you can go through and swap out the chinas and all that stuff, the toms, etc., etc. Now, depending on which expansion pack you have, there may be restrictions on what options you're going to be able to select when you are selecting your different kit pieces. So keep that in mind as well. Now, let's take a look at the MIDI window. I'm going to just jump to the bottom of the plugin with VO end. That's VO FN and right arrow.
2.3.0.
If you're on a laptop, you see it shows us the version number. I'm just going to VO left over to MIDI.
Button. Shop button. MIDI button.
There we go, MIDI. If I VO space on this, it's now going to switch us to the MIDI window in the plugin. And if I VO home,
ML drums default map. Collapse. Pop-up button.
that puts us on the button where we can choose which map. Now, by default, it's using the ML drums default map. And if I VO space on this,
ML drums default map.
you'll see if you down arrow,
Clear map. Add.
clear map, you can add a map.
Easy D3.
Easy D3, I believe that's Easy Drummer 3.
GGD.
Get Good Drums, GGD.
GM.
GM, the general MIDI. So that closely be the one that probably resembles what you're used to using if you're used to playing the Logic stock drum sounds.
SD.
SD's probably Superior Drummer.
SSD5.
SSD5 is Steven Slate Drums.
Double KS.
And that one is one I created earlier called Double KS.
Save as.
And then Save As, which is where if you tweak anything in here, you can save your own preset. And that was what I did, and put in the name Double KS to save the mapping that I did earlier. So I'm going to hit escape on this.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
We'll leave it on the ML drum maps for now.
Classic electric piano. Classic electric piano. Name.
Of
Text.
course, I lost focus, the Command
Tracks.
Accent.
Group. Classic electric piano. Name. Enable the use of pedal. ML drums default map. Collapse.
And I think some of this is just my screen sharing software, because it doesn't always lose focus like this every time you select something or don't select something normally when I'm using it. So let's be all right.
Enable the use of pedal control channel values. Off. Toggle button.
If you play eDrums, you're going to be able to adjust some of your pedal or calibrate some of your pedals to work with this for like your hi-hats and stuff like that.
Calibrate the pedal range for hidden. Off. Toggle button. 0 button. 127. Kick drum.
And now right here is where we get to where we can see what things are mapped to. So the kick drum,
Button.
and there's a button here. If I press this button, VO space, every time you VO space on it, it plays the kit piece. So you hear what the kit piece sounds like.
C1 button.
And there you see that that's mapped to C1. So you hit C1 on your keyboard, or you can VO space on this and change the map into any other key of your choosing. Now, if you VO right, you're going to find what I believe is a MIDI Learn button.
Off. Toggle button.
VO space on it to enable MIDI Learn. Press the key or pad you want to map it to. VO space again to disable it. VO right.
Button.
This one here, though, if I VO space on it, it's going to give me the option to choose another key that I can map that kick to. So if I VO space,
Choose. Dialog. C1 button.
see, it says choose dialog, and then it says C1.
C number -1 button.
And then it starts all the way at the bottom of the keyboard, C-1. So I'm going to go up to
B1 button.
B0.
B1 F G A1 and B1 C C D D num E0 F0 F num G0 G num A0 and numbers B0 C1 button. B0 button.
And let's select B0.
Now in Untitled 1 Logics. Untitled 1 tracks
And
window.
of course, I lost
Now in
focus.
Untitled 1 Classic electric piano. View. Classic electric piano. Solo. Off. Switch. Classic electric piano. Off. Toggle button. B0 button.
And now you see I have that map to B0. If I VO left,
Off. Toggle button. C1 button.
and C1. So now I can trigger that kick with B0 or C1, which is useful to have, because sometimes in the past, because the Logic drums let you trigger kicks with B0 C1, which is a general MIDI thing. I've played some kicks in with B0 in the past before, especially when I've been like putting in double kicks for some of the metal stuff that I do. If I VO left,
Button.
you see that's the
Kick
button.
drum.
VO right, that's the kick drum, where the label where it says kick drum. If I VO right again,
Button.
this is a button where you can press it to hear the sample. If I VO down arrow from here,
Button.
I'll end up on the one for the snare. So if I VO left,
Snare.
you see that's the snare.
Button.
VO right, that's the button we're just on. So you see that's the snare when you VO space on it. VO right.
D1 button.
It says D1, that's what it's using. VO
Off. Toggle
right.
button.
That's the MIDI Learn button again.
Button.
And then this button again, if I VO space on this, I can add another mapping to this snare. I'm going to VO space.
Choose dialog. C number -1 button. D1. D number E1 F1 F G G number A1 but and number -1 B1 but C0 C number 0 D0 but D number 0 E0 but F0 F number 0 G0 but G number A0 and number B0 C1 button. C number D1 D number 1 E1 button.
And I'm going E1
Now in Untitled 1 Logic. Untitled 1.
because once again, Logic sometimes uses E1 for snare. Now, in the case of Logic, it triggers an alternate snare. It's not the same snare sample, but at least if I program something with Drummer or program something with Logic drum sounds in the past, I can easily copy it over to ML Drums and have it trigger the snare, even if it's not triggering an alternate snare. But still, at least I don't have to go into the MIDI and transpose all the E1 notes down to D1 notes like I've had to do in the past. So it's kind of nice that we can adjust that from in here. I'm going to hit Command and Accent again.
Classic electric piano. View.
That puts me back in the plugin window.
E1 button.
So then that's the basic gist of what I wanted to show you in here is you can come in here and you can remap one of these things, or you can add a second map into it. So, or you can pick a different key command. So let's say I'm going to jump back to the top here at VO Home.
ML Drums default map start. Collapse. Pop-up button.
Did I say key command? I meant MIDI map. So I'm going to VO space on this.
Presets.
And I'm just going to
down
arrow.
Add. EZD3. GGD. GM.
I'm going to VO shift space on this to select the general MIDI map.
Classic electric piano. Name. Text.
And Command
Tracks.
Accent.
Group. Classic electric piano. View.
There we go.
GM. Collapse.
So
Pop-up button.
So you see now we're using the GM map. If I VO right.
Enable the use of pedal control channel values. Calibrate the pedal. 0 button. 126 kick drum.
So kick
Button. C1 button.
is
Off.
C1
Toggle button. B0 button.
and B0.
Off. Toggle button. B0 button.
Did it do the same for,
Off. Toggle C1 button.
I just VO left.
Button.
That's the snare, so VO right.
D1 button.
D1.
Off. Toggle button.
And so the snare is not mapped to E1 as well. So you can go ahead and add that and then do a save as and save it as your own general MIDI mapping. But you see, switching to general MIDI automatically maps the kick to C1 and B0 for us. Now, I know that ML Drum changes around some of the cymbal mappings, for example, but we'll get to those in a second. I'm going to VO left again.
Toggle D1 button. Button.
So if I go down, that's the cross stick. If I VO
Snare
left,
side stick.
so you see snare side stick.
Button.
Now, I find you have to be on the button that triggers the sound before you VO down, because if you're not, these don't line up. So that's why I keep going back to that button. So this is one of the toms.
Rack tom 1.
Yep, rack tom 1.
D2 button.
And you see that's mapped to
Button. D2 button.
D2.
Button. Button.
Go down.
Rack tom 2.
That's rack tom 2. It'll just be a left, be a right. That's the button.
C2 button.
C2.
Button.
VO down.
No MIDI key assigned button.
No MIDI
Off.
key
Toggle
assigned. That's off.
Button. Off. Toggle button. Button. No MIDI key assigned button.
So I'm just doing VO
Off.
left
Toggle
here.
button. A3 button. Off. Toggle button. D number 3 button. Button. Hit it semi-open 2.
So you see we can get to other stuff here. I'm going to hit VO
GM,
home and
collapse,
go back
pop-up
to the top.
Enable the use of calibrate the pedal range for 0 button. 127 button. Kick drum.
Kick.
Button. C1 button.
C1.
Off. Toggle button. B0 button.
B0.
Off. Toggle button.
Now if I just VO right again,
Crash 1
I get to the crash.
button. C number 2 button.
And that's C sharp.
Button.
So that's the crash. That button right there, I just VO left. That button is the one that triggers the sound. If I VO
No
down,
MIDI key assigned button.
no MIDI key assigned. So I'm go back up.
Crash 1 button. C number 2 button. Off. Toggle button. Button. Off. Toggle button.
That's where you can assign that to a second thing as well.
Off. Toggle button. Hit a close tip.
Hi-hat close tip.
F number 1 button.
That's F sharp 1. That one's really quiet. So you see, you can go through here and map out what these things are assigned to, customize it, and then go back up to the top and save as and give it a name, and you have your own drum map. So you don't have to worry about messing with transposing notes in the piano roll and all that stuff. If you have an E drum kit, you can VO space on one of the MIDI Learn buttons, hit the pad on the E drum kit to map it, and then you can disable that MIDI Learn button and save that as one of the presets as well. All right, so let's jump back down to the bottom
2.3.0.
because the next thing I want to talk about is going to be purchasing some of these add-ons. So by default, ML Drums is free. You have to grab the free version, install it, set it up, and then you have to go to the buy page,
Shop button.
the shop page rather. So I just VO left over to the shop page. I'm going to VO space on this. And if you jump to the top,
https://ml-sound-lab.com/mld-essentials button. Logic Pro has new window.
and you have links here for the different libraries essentials.
https://ml-sound-lab.com/mld-lux button.
Lux, which is short for deluxe, so it's just LUXE, or Lux as VoiceOver is calling it.
https://ml-sound-lab.com/mld-meld button.
Meld, that's another one.
https://ml-sound-lab.com/mld-grid button.
Grid.
https://ml-sound-lab.com/mld-yamc button.
And YAM, which is their most recent one, which is short for Yamaha because it's a bunch of Yamaha shells, I believe, and I think there's some symbols in there as well from other companies. All right, so let's be all right.
Copy request key button.
You can VO space on that button to copy your request key. When you go to buy one of those expansion kits, it will ask you for your request key. You paste in your request key on the website, and you complete your purchase as you would normally, and then you come back to this screen. And if I VO right past the request key,
K7 by drums button. Paste license button.
Paste license, you VO space on this button, paste in your license, hit OK, and then it will unlock the additional kit pieces for you. Now, depending on which one you get, there may be an installer as well that you get a link to after you purchase. So you got to install it, shut down Logic, install it, come back in there, instantiate ML drums, and then paste in the license key that you were provided as well, where it says paste key. And that is how you can go ahead and add additional sounds to it. So once again, come in here, get the request key, go to the website. When you go to purchase whichever add-ons you want, it's going to ask you for the request key, put that request key in, purchase your add-on. If your add-on has an installer, you'll get a link to that, download it, run the installer, and then come in here back to the shop tab and go to where it says paste key, VO space on that, and paste in the license key that they sent you when you purchase it. I believe that some of them don't have installers. It just will unlock the additional kit pieces for you once you put in the license key, but some of them will have an installer, and you'll have to install the additional samples first. It just run the installer like a normal installer. It will install it, and then you come in here, put in your key, and you're good to go. So the last thing I want to talk about is MultiOut and how to use this in a MultiOut mode. So I'm going to go ahead and close this plugin window. So Command W.
Untitled One Logics.
We're going to go back over to the inspector.
Solo off switch. Classic electric piano. Name.
I think we're still on that channel strip in the mixer in the inspector. So that's great. So I'm just going to hit VO home.
On. Library indicator. Null button.
VO right.
Setting button. Gain reduction meter off. MIDI plugin off. Library ML drums group.
And if I interact with this,
ML drums open button. List button.
Go over to list. I'm going to turn cursor tracking back on. So VO shift
Cursor tracking
F3.
on.
Remember, depending on how you have your keyboard set up, you may need to press VO shift FN F3 to get that to work. All right, now I'm just going to VO space on list.
Menu, quick sampler, single sample, submenu, quick sampler, single sample, arrow key, quick nav off. Stereo.
And
mono, menu, 35 items, quick sampler, single sample, submenu, complete control, submenu, ML drums, submenu.
Find ML drums. It's going to be my recent,
dimmed. No plugin. ML drums, submenu.
There we go. So I just found ML drums. I'm going to right arrow.
ML drums, submenu, 2 multi-output, 9x stereo.
And select multi-output 9x stereo.
Closing menu, list button. Classic electric piano, dialog.
And that, of course, reopens the window. So I'm going to go ahead and close that. And I'm going to press Command 2 to open the mixer in its own window.
Classic electric piano, partially hidden. Small room /0. Classic electric piano, partially hidden. Channel strip group.
And if we interact with this,
classic electric solo off switch.
VO left.
Mute off switch. Add aux off switch.
You see this button here that says Add aux. I'm going to hit that. It says there's 9 stereo tracks. It's 9x stereo, it said, right? So if we probably can hit this 9 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I believe that should be all of them. Hit it one more time. So now we have, if we VO right after we stop interacting with the channel strip, we have aux 3, aux 4,
channel strip, aux 5, partially hidden, aux 6, partially hidden, aux 7, partially hidden, aux 8, partially hidden, aux 9, partially, aux 10, partially hidden, small room /0.4, aux 10, partially hidden.
So you see we have all these now.
Aux 9, aux 8, aux 5, aux 4, partially, aux 3, partially classic electric piano,
go back to this classic electric piano channel strip.
Solo off switch.
Let's solo this. You can think of this as a parallel drum bus. You can put a compressor on here to crush it, or just mute it if you don't need it.
Off. Out of classic electric piano, partially, aux 3, partially hidden, channel strip group.
VO right. Now we're going to interact with aux 3.
Solo off switch.
Solo this. See, that's just our kick.
Off. Out of aux 3. Aux 4. Partially hidden. Channel strict group.
Stop interacting with aux 3. Go to aux
In aux
4.
4. Solo. Off. Switch. On.
That's just our snare.
Off. Out of aux 4. Aux 5.
Go to
Partially hidden. In aux 5.
5.
Solo. Off. Switch. On.
Solo that one. You don't hear anything on this one right now because it's our toms track and we don't have any toms in this part.
Off.
And just on solo
Out of aux
that.
5. Aux 6. Partially hidden. Channel strict group. In aux 6. Solo. Off. Switch.
Solo
On.
that. This one would be the track for the hi-hats.
Off. Out of aux 6. Aux 7. Partially in aux 6.
Aux
Solo. Off.
7.
Switch. On.
And this one is for the ride cymbals.
Mute. Off. Solo. On. Switch. Off. Out of aux 7. Aux 8. Partially hidden. In aux 8. Solo. Off. Switch. On.
This track is going to be our overheads.
Off. Out of aux 8. Aux 9. In aux 9. Solo. Off. Switch. On.
This track is going to be our drum rooms.
Off. Out of aux 9. Aux 10. Partially in aux 10. Solo. Off. Switch. No visible title to interact. Mute. Off. Solo. Off. Switch. On.
This last track is the drum reverb that's included in ML drums.
Off. Out of aux 10. Small room /0.4 snare chamber. Partially hidden.
And that's all of them. So you can rename these tracks, and if you select them in the mixer and press Control T as in Tango, it will put them in the track headers as well. You can select all the drum tracks once they're in the track headers and put them in a track stack. So hopefully that helps you to see how useful this tool can be. Not the most accessible plugin in the world, but you can still get a lot done with it as far as setting up your drum sounds and things of that nature. I didn't show you the mixer tab because that's the least accessible part of the plugin. You can tell what's in there. If you get some sighted assistance, you can label all of that. That being said, all the stuff from the mixer is found in controlled view in the plugin, so it will be out of order. If you want, there's going to be a link to ML drums in the description below. And there is currently a sale going on right now where I think you can get 25% off of all their expansion packs. If you missed that sale, you're seeing this months later or something like that, keep in mind that they do a big Black Friday sale for the month of November. By all means, grab the free one, try it out, play around with it. If you're one of those people who aren't really happy with the Logic drum sounds or you want something to complement the Logic drum sounds, this is not a bad option for something that is somewhat accessible for us to use. If you got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you for checking out this tutorial. Hope you found that useful and helpful. If you got any tips you'd love to share with the community, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. Remember to like, share, and subscribe both to the YouTube channel and to the email list found at logic.band. That way you can get a free Getting Started with Logic course, and I can let you know when the Logic Keyboard Ninja key commands have been updated and keep you in the loop on everything going on at logic.band. Want to go deeper on this topic or anything related to macOS, VoiceOver, Logic, or GarageBand? Then book yourself some one-on-one training by visiting logic.band/training. Want to support us? Then visit logic.band/support where you can make a one-time or ongoing donation. You can also join the band by visiting logic.band/member or just hit the join button if you're watching this on YouTube, and you'll get bonus tutorials, a Q&A with me, and more. Links to everything, plus a blog post with supplemental information for this tutorial is in the description. And as always, happy recording.